Hi and welcome to Unprepared Geeks, SmartBear's bi-weekly podcast about the world of quality. And we'll be discussing the world of quality from the perspectives of testers, developers and operations people out there. I'm Niclas.
I'm Erik.
I'm Henrik.
I'm Ulrika.
Nice sound. Let's get started with the first news item straight away. Before we start, I'd like to say to you all, you are idiots.
Well,
just erase the bar, okay. It's an inside joke. Okay, for real. The first subject is about Google, our friends at Google, who were down 27 minutes. Granted, not the entire world, parts of the world, and partly down, but still. Parts of the world couldn't reach Google, which means, Google search, all the apps, everything, AdWords, everything. And the interesting part is, of course, we're becoming part of an interconnected, interdependent world. For example, ourselves. We depend on Amazon, on Google, and a lot of stuff, and everything depends on each other. And how do we protect ourselves from serious mishaps that stops us from being able to work or function or whatever?
I think this is really funny from a development point of view, because Google has one of the most rigorous testing, QA kind of procedures that basically is around. I mean, I really have no idea what Microsoft has, but I doubt it can be more stringent. And then this happens, like someone changes a tiny little configuration somewhere, and boom! It doesn't matter how many tests you have in the code or around the code or on the services, it can go down.
Yeah, because the problem was a routing issue. It wasn't Google themselves. It was a routing issue in Asia that started it.
And it points on the extreme complexity we are all in, and we should be aware of. Not even Google managed to have enough visibility on their own stuff or whatever, monitoring or whatever, to be able to see this happening. It wasn't even them who discovered the error.
No, and they didn't even fix it.
No, so it points at the extreme complexity, and we need to take our monitoring or testing or whatever to a new level.
The problem is that it's very hard to cover all cases, and there was always been these corner cases that usually gets into the news. I mean, what's maybe even more interesting is to see how many situations has Google have they managed to prevent
or fix in real time. Yeah.
Because it's usually those rare cases where it goes wrong that it gets into news.
Yeah.
But sure, I totally agree that sometimes you have this view that the cloud or the really big actors like Amazon and Google and all those are they can't go down, and they're super robust, and you trust in them maybe too much sometimes. Maybe we should be a bit more careful and maybe think a bit about caching and stuff like that could prevent yourself from falling into
it's kind of scary that one company can sort of shut down half the world for half an hour. I'm curious about the legal and financial consequences of these 30 minutes for many companies, and it's kind of scary that one company can actually blow out the whole
So should we stop
business
using Google?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so, but you should be a bit more aware, maybe, and not so naive to believe that Google is never ever going to go down or something like that.
I wonder what this does for their statistics. They probably have something like 99 point several nines and whatever uptime, but this has to make a dent.
Yeah.
Probably.
No, but they did still had uptime. It wasn't their problem.
Okay,
they still had uptime.
So it wasn't our fault.
Even they are dependent on other causes.
Yeah.
You can't protect yourself by having control over your own stuff anymore. You need to find ways to include all the other causes, nodes, whatever that affects. And how would you do that? I believe that we will see a lot more about complexity theory the next few years in a matter of protecting us.
Because in a way we have to
against
change our
this.
worldview, because it's not systems anymore. It's interdependent systems that cascade into independence. So the environment is much more complex, like you said. Should we even care? I mean, honestly, should we even care? Should we just
I don't know.
shrug our
I think
shoulders and move on?
I think at some point you just have to make a choice if you care or not.
Yeah.
Because in this case, the weakest link was not something within their control.
Yeah.
So and that's always gonna happen probably.
And how bad is it that Google goes down? Is it bad?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the
more time for each other.
Yeah, the key thing, because you're talking about monitoring, and I believe also the monitoring is very important. However, I firmly believe that you can like over monitor some things.
Yep.
You can like put monitoring on everything, and then you get a flood of data back, and you're not able to process it. You don't know which is more important. You have red lights blinking everywhere, everybody, and people start to ignore warnings and all that. So you really have to be clever and do some kind of risk analysis and saying like, this is the real bad things.
Yeah.
Like if this goes down, we're in big trouble. So let's make sure that this doesn't break. If this break, maybe not so.
The same strategy that we should use in small scale.
Yeah.
as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
What? What? So you mean it makes sense? Oh.
No, I'm actually really strong. You said my favorite word for at the moment, risk. I'm really hot on risk-based testing, for example, because same thing there. There's so much to test, and honestly, we can't test it all. But let's make sure that what's business critical and what's most important and where we see the most risk is tested really thoroughly, and then move down.
Yeah, it's as you say, it's too much to test, and it's actually sometimes an over testing trend.
Yeah.
You need to monitor and test everything, every little detail, and how much
Yeah,
money
I totally
will
agree,
you
because
put into that.
usually, I mean, nowadays, like test-driven development, it's so highly thought of that you're supposed, like a developer, you're supposed to, if someone asks like, oh, do you test? You're supposed to answer, yeah, I write tests for every single line of code I ever write. And that's like, so, and if you don't reason that way, you sometimes are like questioned, like, oh, well, why don't you test? Like, so I think it's healthy to have some kind of discussion of like, maybe we should be a bit more
so it's a good
selective, strategic when we test. I don't know, but
so it's a good thing that Google went down, so we got to think about this.
Okay. So thank you, Google, for going down on us. So next topic, Guillermo Winkler. This is a blog post I read that interested me a lot. So basically, Guillermo Winkler, a developer from Uruguay, talked about, how much a bug costs to fix and all that stuff. We know the classic. But he had what he thought was a pretty simple solution. He said that you need to do three things to lessen the need to fix bugs in production. And those three things were continuous integration and deployment, something I know we like here. Develop with operations in mind, and use the right tools. And by tools, he means software that helps you quickly to analyze the root cause of the problem. So those three things. Very good blog post, Guillermo. We'll try to contact you. But what do we think about it? Are those three enough? Are those three even good? Let's go through them in order. Continuous integration and deployment. Who hates it?
No.
It's pretty much a given, right? Develop with operations in mind. Who likes it?
Yeah, it
but
seems
who
like
does
a good
it?
idea.
Who loves it? Actually, I do. I really do. I think that so much can be solved by actually thinking of the operations people. and breaking down the barriers between developers, testers, and operations. That's my favorite.
It's a huge shift because it's a huge gap between development and operations.
Which
usually,
sucks.
yeah, that sucks. So it's a huge change to make that happen. To make this, it's gonna take a lot of years because.
Sure.
Just
Yeah, I think it's super healthy to think when developing, think in terms like, okay, so let's say there happens an error here in the code that I'm developing. How would an system administrator find out what's causing this? Like, what should I log something? What should the error message format be? How can I help this person find the issue as?
Ask him, where do you see the risks?
Exactly. Yeah, I really believe so. Because,
yeah, how often does that happen? How many organization works like that today?
I don't. I think it's far too few.
Far too few. Yeah. I mean, the DevOps movement is the first step, and I'm calling it a movement. I know it's methods, blah blah blah, but I still call it a movement because it's also about how our perception of how the company works that's changing. I think it's the first step, but I seldom see it. Also, sad. Okay, right tools.
The right tools. Yeah.
I think it's very important actually, because I think speaking as a developer, if you know how to use a debugger well, it can save you a lot of time actually. Because there's usually when doing debugging, the most important thing is to narrow down the scope as quickly as possible, so you know like where to look. Because when you start, you have no idea. Like, and usually, if there's a complex code base, it could be everywhere. You have millions of permutations of states where it could go wrong. So using the right tools, knowing like how to scope down your code is really important, I think, to be able to track down the bugs. And that varies a bit. Some developers are very good at debugging, some aren't. Some are very accustomed to it, some aren't. So, and it could be like, and that doesn't really relate to how good you say. Like really good developers like never debugs and other.
For me, but I'm not a developer. I mean, for me, it's totally uninteresting. For me, it's about not the right tools; it's the right people. And you are the right people. I think that's why we're doing. That's why I think we're doing, that's why we're doing pretty well at the moment, because we have smart people here, and I think that's so.
He totally misses that also. The thing of understanding what you do before it gets to production, like all the specification by example. Movement or method or whatever you want to call it, he totally excludes what's happened before you work. So I think he seriously missed the people part and the communication, like between requirements and what we actually gonna do and what it means and etc. All this work that you do during development, apart from debugging.
That's nice. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Yeah, I totally agree with you that this is kind of tech oriented, but I think it's much about principle also, because we actually talked about this internally when we're doing some kind of retrospective. How should we treat bugs? Should we there's all these strategies. Either you hit them as soon as you hit the bug, no matter where it comes from, you fix it, or we say we only fix the bugs that we find that we know we have introduced. And because you have pros and cons with every strategy. Like if you go about to fix every bug, then maybe you won't be able to have time to do the real features, because the only thing you do is fixing old bugs. But if you leave bugs, especially if you leave newly introduced bugs, that will be a huge pain in the future. So you should really, I think, talk about this and come up with a strategy that everybody agrees on. Like, this is how we handle bugs and prevent them.
So what you said, people and requirements. What else do we think is missing from the list? If we say two things that we think are missing from the list,
that would be those two.
Ooh. Do you have
I don't
any?
know.
Erik? I would say the problem I
details.
see usually is when you translate, when you try to explain the requirements. That's where stuff goes wrong.
Yes.
It's not the requirements themselves; it's the communication of the requirements that
Yeah.
breaks
Lost in
down.
translation.
Yeah,
phenomenon.
lost in translation.
Yeah, that happens all the time, and that ends up as bugs
Yeah.
in production. However you want to define bugs, but things
Mhm.
doesn't work as expected.
Exactly. I think you're really onto something. What is a bug, really?
Yeah.
Now, we don't have time to get philosophical, but usually a bug could be to one person
Mhm.
a real bug, like an issue,
Yep.
to another person a design issue, to another person like a side effect of the way we have implemented it.
Yep.
So and everybody uses the same term bug. So I think it's really important to define like what do we actually mean in this case
Yep.
with a bug.
We'll go to the final topic, but before we do, congratulations, Ulrika. Ulrika became the 14th best developer in Sweden by a prolific Swedish magazine the other day.
Not even coding.
Excellent.
I have to go back.
So
to
Ulrika is as a Scrum Master, but you're the 14th best developer, beating Ivar Jakobsson, right?
Yeah, and actually that's
So-
just an interesting philosophical thing as well. What
What
is
is a
what is
developer?
a developer?
Yeah.
That's another time discussion.
We should do something about that. What's a developer? Because your guys' idea is that everybody's a developer. We develop software
Yeah.
as a whole for the end user.
Some code, some do something else.
Yeah.
some
Some walk
invent
around with their
stuff
hands in their
up,
pockets. and-
Yeah. I didn't want to be the one to tell you. It's like,
Okay. Final topic: marry, boink, kill. So this is where we have 3 different items, topics, and we get to choose which one we would like to form a long-term relationship with, which one we would like to have a one-off with, and which one we would rather see disappear from the face of the earth. First one, introduction of new 7-inch tablets. Actually, they're closer to 8, but anyway. So we have the Google Nexus, the iPad Mini, and Microsoft Surface, who kind of cheats its way in because it's a 10-inch. There actually is no Microsoft Windows 8 lower than 10-inch tablets. But you get a shot anyway, Microsoft. So Ulrika, which one?
Yeah, as a Mac freak, actually I would marry the Microsoft Surface. I think it has a strong future. Yeah. It's a huge business, and a lot of people are using their tools. And I haven't tried the Windows 8, but I think it will. It's a huge market for this one.
Yeah.
And I would kill my darling, kill the iPad Mini. I don't really believe the Mac people would go for that one. And I guess I boinked the Android. Yeah, it's there.
It's
I don't
there.
know. So probably a lot of geeks can use it.
Yeah. Hank?
you know, I really want to kill both of those.
Which one?
Are you cheating?
Yeah,
Killing?
I want to kill the iPad, and I want to kill the Microsoft abomination. It's not something that should ever have been invented. It must be destroyed at any and all costs. And then I want to have a long, happy life with my mistress, the Nexus.
But you really have
All alone,
And you would like
nothing,
to-
no iPads or Surfaces.
I know that you're really interested in the Nexus.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one. Last time I checked, though, it was this: no, you're in Sweden, you can't purchase. We don't want your money. That's for you, Google.
Erik?
Wow, tough choice actually. Well, the marriage choice is trivial, of course. Nexus, as Hank, I'm a huge Google fanboy, so and I think really that the the new tablets look great. I'm not very big fan of 7-inch tablets anyways. I'm a more 10-inch guy.
Yep.
Big guns. Alright, so kill, I don't know, iPad mini seems kind of pointless actually. And as you say, it feels just forced. Like Apple have to come up with something so they do a smaller version of what's already there. And I don't know, yeah, Windows 8, it's a bit new, and I could see myself fooling around a bit with Windows 8 a bit. Yeah.
Fondling around.
I would marry the Mini. I'm locked into the Apple ecosystem. Fool around with the Nexus. I must admit, I'm not really interested. And I've fooled around with Nexus or Android before. I got disappointed every time. Microsoft Surface, one word, pen. Comes with a pen, and I would like Steve Ballmer to stop with that pointy little thing he has. It's absolutely, it's annoying. Dennis, what do you think? Quick, no whys, just what?
Windows 8 kill, marry the iPad, and I guess Boink the Android.
You and me both. Okay, one more marry, Boink, kill. Environments. So marry, Boink, kill test environment, the staging environment, and the production environment.
I would definitely kill the staging environment. Totally pointless. I would marry the production environment because that's the future and what we're gonna to live with. And I will fool around with the test environment because that's where the new and sexy things happen.
Well, I would kill the testing environment because we're never keeping it up to date and it's just dirty. And the staging environment is pretty much the same. I want to kill that one too because what the hell? It's just a glorified backup. And then I want to marry and make love to the production environment because it's got everything I need.
I would marry and make love to the staging environment actually. That's so great when you have it a working staging environment that you actually knows what will happen in production. Of course that would change if the production would be even more continuous deployment stuff, so you can deploy stuff really quick and sort of acceptance testing in production without any worries. So I would Boink and fool around with the production environment and kill the testing environment since it's illusions.
Damn, you guys are not idiots. You're way too smart. I can say I started out with an idea what I thought. No, I have no idea at all. You guys are too smart for me, and I surrender. So on that note, we'll end the podcast. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on Twitter @SmartBear, or join the discussion using the hashtag Unprepared Geeks. Unprepared Greeks, that's another.
That's
the next one, the philosophical one.
Okay, thank you everybody.